everybody, and welcome to another walkthrough of the Textguides with me and Mr. RGTV. Hello, my friend.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, I'm starting to feel a bit alive, or a bit more alive since the 24-hour stream, which took a toll on me, so to speak.
I could imagine you were like a zombie afterward.
Yeah, I did fall asleep pretty quickly afterwards, I would have to say. And before we start with the video, I would like to, send out, as many thank you as possible to say, to each and every one of you that was watching the stream, commenting on stream, donating to the cause, and it's going to be amazing. It looks like we are going to pull after after fees and stuff like that YouTube takes and PayPal takes. It's gonna be somewhere around 100k Swedish, and for those that may wonder, that's around 10,000 American dollars. So that's amazing. Makes me super happy, super proud that we have such an amazing community. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the stream. I also played a bit there. You will see parts of it coming up during the week. But in this video, we are going to focus on the new courses from the Dreaded Dunes, and then the Dreaded Dunes tournament that starts now the 28th of October. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, first to mine and then obviously to RJ as well. And it's RJTV. And then obviously visit golfclashtommy.com for more content about the Dreaded Dunes. Subscribe to patreon.com/golfclashtommy to get the updated text guides, and if you want personalized training sessions and stuff like that, you can find that there as well. RJ, what do you think about the new courses?
I really haven't had too much of a chance to play them as often as I would like, as is the case with every new course. Because just through climbing your way up, you're like, oh, I remember this. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of 10%, elevations on the drive is going to keep the notes a little bit easy from that standpoint. And overall, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. And for those of you that are watching, and please put a comment or make it in the chat if you're watching it as a premiere, what you think about the course and what you think the scores is going to be. Always with new course, the scores are not being as low as it normally is because people are not familiar with it, and it takes time to get comfortable, get familiar, and that's also something you're gonna notice here. So a little disclaimer already from the start. The elevation adjustment, I feel very good about those, but we might end up playing a certain route, maybe a bit more aggressive route in the tournament based on what type of wind we're going to get in the tournament. We don't know the wind, so we're going to try to give you general advice, a general way of playing all the courses here of the Dreaded Dunes. And you can find all the elevation adjustment for all tee boxes listed on golfclashtommy.com. So if you don't want to listen through everything, just go there and just write it down yourself, or you print it out or whatever. It's up to you. And RJ is going to cover from front tee. I'm going to try to cover the second tee and the third tee. So if you like it, hit thumbs up. So RJ, I think it's time I throw over the ball from your favorite team, the New England Patriots, and we're gonna
What was that?
Yeah, okay, there we have it. The Cleveland Browns. Okay, let's go. Hole number 1, par 4.
All right. Did I hear you say aggressive? Because I think I did hear him say aggressive. Didn't he say aggressive? So yes, I want you to pull out your Apocalypse 7, aim right before that island, full backspin, and just get it to bounce right before that sand pit, and you can get on the green in 1. Or, for the rest of us who are playing rookie, 10% on the elevation, extra mile with the Quasar. With the Quasar, we're going to be taking advantage of all the right spins. So full top spin, full right spin. We're going to be playing on the right side, which is the black line. And then once our ball stops where that second square would be, we're going to take the backbone with as much backspin as needed. It obviously depends how far up you get, what type of wind you have, or it might even be a thorn or a hornet shot with about one top spin would be my guess to the pin. What you got, Tommy?
Yes, from second tee and also third tee, I would say first we need to play two different elevations. Like to get completely spot on, we play 10% from second tee for the drive, 15% from the third tee. You know, details, but such an important one. And here I would say if we do have a straight tailwind, we can go for green. Yes, power 5 ball in some form, we can actually go for green. Weird, but yeah, that's true. So we'll see. If we get tailwind, we're gonna get to that adjustment later on. But if we get some sort of like a crosswind tailwind, we might get like a headwind, then we're going to try to follow the black line as a first start. Going to try to get the ball as far down the fairway as possible and then have a short iron or a long iron towards the pin. If we, especially from the third tee, is having a headwind straight in our face, the white line is going to be more suggested. Either we bounce before the bunker and roll up there on the left hand side, or we're gonna go directly over the bunker and then approach the pin with a wood club or a long iron from distance. This is and should be a birdie minimum, but I do think with certain type of winds, this could almost be a must eagle in the end. But we will see what's happening in the tournament. No elevation for the second shot, no matter what tee you're playing from. And we scroll down and we go to hole number 2, the first par 3. So how do we play hole number 2?
Well, this one we actually are going to drive the green, and we're not going to be aggressive. So I would bring, again, 10% backbone, quasar. We're going to take the black line. We're going to bounce off of that first pad over the sand, and with about one top spin and full right spin, our second bounce should land just before the spin, and that will be before you add the spin. So let me rephrase that because that sounded kind of messed up. Backbone, quasar, set your ball up, and then make sure that your ball guide is showing that your second bounce is going to land right before the fringe. Then add one top spin, full right spin, and you're good to go.
Yes, from second tee, we're going to play with a wood club. And the wood club is going to be a sniper. Very important here. And that sniper, we're going to take the black line and bounce towards the pin. 10% extra. We're gonna use somewhere between like 2 to 3 bars backspin, depending on wind, obviously. 30, we are also going to play with a wood club, depending on what type of ball. Let's say you're using like a Win 5 Power 0, you might play with a driver. So I will reserve myself a little bit on that when it comes to the third tee. There is a white line where we can play, and especially in headwind. Then we can play up there, especially also from third tee, using more backspin, bounce towards the pin for a much easier birdie. There is a rough bump here as well. I'm not going to go into any details on that one here on where we go over it. I'm gonna, as always, when it comes to rough bumps, I'm most likely just going to go more into detail to those if we get the wind that I feel it's good to use them. So as I said, 10% extra from whatever tee you're playing on. And this is going to be an interesting one. I kind of enjoy this one. I don't know why, but I do. Weirdly enough. Hole number 3, my friend. And this is going to be a one-way course. For us, at least.
Yeah. You know, I'm used to seeing the fiber optic looking cable and wires with the pink, the green, that we argue over the... No, just kidding. Yeah, this is straightforward. Going to the left is just going to take you further away from the hole than necessary. We got a nice line going straight, but that doesn't mean it's extremely safe. Be careful with your extra mile and your quasar. Yes, quasar, 3 holes in a row, and there's going to be more. Full top spin, full right spin. Right side is the black line, and then that'll set you up with a Viper shot, where you're going to be using anywhere between 1 and 3 backspin, most likely, to pin. And 1 to 3, why 1 to 3? Why not just give you a number? We don't know what the wind's going to be. So that's what I got for hole number 3.
Yes, and for me, second tee, 10% extra. And we are going to play the black line here as well. We might come into a position where we need to use overpower. It all depends on the wind. If we have a headwind, we need to use overpower. If we are using a lower level ball, like a power 1, power 0 ball, we need to use overpower. So I would consider a Titan here to be the best. And also a Kingmaker would obviously be a possible ball. You can play with power 4 ball, power 5 ball, but keeping ourselves with power 3, power 4 ball, we don't really go into any special ball options, which I think is good. We get the ball as far down as possible on the fairway, and then we're gonna play with a sniper. There is a funnel by the right side of the bunker. Hard to obviously show here on the text guide, but we're gonna search for that funnel on the stream tomorrow directly at not 9 a.m. It's gonna be 8 a.m. my time, because we have changed to what is called winter time, right? So we're actually a little bit earlier this time. So 8 a.m. we're gonna start the stream tomorrow, my time, then Central European time. Don't know why I got into that, but I did. If we from 30 going to experience a straight headwind, we cannot play right side, unfortunately, or like we can, but then we will have to lay up, and that will still be the better option in my opinion than trying to play left, because from the left hand side we're going to have a major struggle, because as you can see on the screen, we need to kind of curl around the bunker and the rough to give ourselves even to give us a way to actually get close to the green. So if they give us massive headwind from the 30, I would suggest a power 4 ball with as much wind resistance as possible, or a power 5 ball with a wind resistance too, like a gear ball, something like that, trying to play up there to just reach over the rough with the topspin to end up on the second fairway where the second black marker is. Even if you're further back down, that's still going to be better than lay up or playing out there to the left. So what we'll say, second shot, no elevation whatsoever. Have that in mind. And we're gonna play, as RJ say, 1 to 3 bars backspin. I would say 1 to 5 when it comes to second and third tee, because the wind is gonna be stronger and we might need to compensate a little bit bigger when we approach the pin. But I would say sniper, main option, cataclysm, second option from second tee, depending obviously by the wind. A lot of stuff, we're talking about, depending on the wind. But it's always like that. In tournaments, it's always depending on the wind, how we're going to approach the pin. And now we're going to come to a hole, which is hole number 4, where there is a very interesting rough bump that I haven't put on the text guide here, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So RJ, let's start. Front tee, let's bring the hole in one home.
All right, 10% backbone, navigator, or let's hear it.
Quasar.
A 4.5 backspin ought to be good. Again, wind always affects these things. I like the white ring just above the rough near the bottom there, and 1 ring from the sand at the top to give you kind of a reference point, and that should take you right into the pin.
Yes, super interesting hole in my opinion. Like in terms of, the black line is kind of the safe option. If you do have a wood club like a sniper 9, sniper 10, or like a guardian, you can use backspin, just bounce yourself up towards the pin. You will have an opportunity for the hole in one, but obviously when we use more backspin, it's gonna have a harder time to see the ball guideline and to compensate correctly for the pin, and for the shot towards pin and the bounce and stuff like that. So I would give you a suggestion here for the rough bump, is that we're using, in tailwind, we're going to use a Goliath, bounce in the rough using around 6 bars topspin, and then using the ball guideline towards the pin. I would highly suggest that you have a Goliath level 7 if you're gonna do that, so you have a little ball guideline to work with. Lower level Goliath is still gonna be crap. You would not be able to follow the ball guideline, and that could mess up more than it's going to help. If we do have a headwind type of wind, I would suggest a special ball here to do the rough bump, because you're going to be kind of like in between clubs in headwind, because the sniper is just gonna turn over even with a power 1 ball just after the rough. So use a special ball, reduce the wind, reduce the power, and then you're gonna be able to do the rough bump there. If you want to take another approach that is not entirely safe, but safer than the rough bump in my opinion, in terms of getting the birdie, then you play white line, bounce up towards the pin. And we'll see Master T, haven't really decided which way is going to be better. If you do the rough bump from Master T, you play with a wood club all day and every day. The sniper, definitely. And try to reduce the wind as much as possible, obviously to make it easier for you. But the black line and the white line will still be an option there as well. From second tee, we do play 10% extra. I would like you to add 15% from the third tee. So a slight change for the elevation there from the third tee. Once again, all the elevation is listed on golfclashtommy.com. Hole number 5, RJ, this is, in my opinion, the easiest hole in the tournament. And should we say that this is a must eagle? What's your thoughts?
It could definitely turn into that. I would think in rookie as well. Well, obviously I'm covering rookie. Simply because we are basically taking a drive, and then we're going to be looking at a short iron to the pin. So it's definitely a possibility. 10% on your drive, extra mile, navigator. I got navigator in there just to knock the wind down a little bit, because we're not going to be taking advantage of the side spin. But if you want to use a quasar, you definitely can. Full top spin, no side spin necessary. Bounce over the sand to the skinny fairway. That's the one thing. Try to stay on that fairway as best as you can. Even though your rough iron should still reach the pin, it's a lot easier to sink an eagle with a short iron than it is your rough iron. So that's the way I would approach hole number 5.
Yes, hole 5, I would say this is a hole. So, okay, from second tee, hole 5, we are going to follow the black line. That's what we're going to do from the third tee as well. And we're going to bounce over what you will see is sort of a cliff. So you bounce your ball on the fairway over to the next fairway, trying to get the ball to go as far as possible. And here I would suggest you use whatever ball that gets you there. If you have a headwind, use a ball with a bit more wind resistance, like a Kingmaker. If you do have like a tailwind, you might could go and play with a Katana, maybe even a Navigator or a Quasar, even from the second tee. Third tee, power 3 ball would be my best suggestion here, no matter what. I do think that you should at least be prepared of using Kingmakers all the time if you play in Master. If we for some reason have a massive headwind from the third tee, we cannot play right side. I think it depends on how strong it is, but then can we play left side? It's a little bit easier to reach that fairway, which is might be a little bit easier if we need to go with full overpower. 10% extra for the drive, nothing for second shot. Very good chance making an eagle here, and I would say that right side is possible to dial in based on yardage note. You have a straight first shot, straight second shot. For all of you that's going to have the updated text guides, I'm going to suggest yardage notes there. So if you don't have that package, subscribe to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Hole 6.
I got the package.
Yeah, I'm happy you have, bud. It's time for a goal.
Oh, it's made a huge difference in my play.
I'm sorry. No worries. No, hole 6. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm getting off on a different topic. This is about the free text guides. We have on hole 6 a pretty long one, 605 yards. We're gonna, with that type of distance, once again, 10%. We're gonna use an extra mile and not a quasar. They just killed my streak. We're going to use a Titan with full top spin, 1 to 2 right spin, and we're going to go straight up the gut into that skinny part of the fairway. And if you feel if you feel well enough to do this with your clubs, I would like to see a little bit of overpower because the further up we get, the better. However, it's not something you absolutely have to do if you don't think you need 100% overpower. It's way easier to do about 20% overpower and still hit perfect than it is to go to 100% overpower. But if you can go with a little OP, it'll get you up just a little bit further, giving you 20% adjustment on your second shot. We're going to be looking at the big dog and set up the yellow ring right by the rough there. We're going to go with full right spin and full right curl with about 2 to 3 back spin. I don't think that anyone's going to hit an albatross on this, but I've seen crazy What do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, as you say there, like based on how I see it the same way as albatrosses. Sure, there will be always a couple of ones that gets lucky, because making the albatross here is kind of being lucky. The only thing that I would see from second and third tee that could make this albatross a slight possibility is if they give us an absolute straight tailwind, because that straight tailwind would make us be able to carry, yeah, very far down and basically have just a sniper shot towards the pin, like an open shot. But how often do we get like a straight tailwind on a par 5? Very rarely, but it happens. So we will see what happens in the tournament. But based on, like, as a general type of way approaching this hole, we approach it according to the black line. We try to gain as much distance as possible, and I really like what RJ said about the fact that not maybe use max overpower, because even you need overpower, but you might not need max overpower, because the second shot is still gonna be very, very tough. Then it might be better to play it for the eagle, like take away the albatross from the equation. Just try to get the the ball on the fairway, and then from there just try to get yourself to the green area for a putt or for a wedge. Power 3 ball is a must from in my opinion from second tee. I would stretch it to a power 4 ball is something that I would love for you to use if you play from the third tee, like a dead ball, like athlete ball. You know, there is tons of power 4 wind 3 when it comes to that. The second shot, guys, just to talk a little bit about that, you see two black lines there. One that is where we just play very, very safe, in my opinion. We curl around the rough and the sand. There is very, very little chance for an albatross there. But if we can reach a certain amount, I would suggest play with the Guardian. If you have it in at least level 7, so you have a distance with your Guardian, so you can go directly over the rough and the sand and try, if so, to get that albatross from distance. You see the fairway that you have on the left hand side. The reason that I don't have a line there is based on the fact that the same as hole 3 basically, because you know, if we play out there to the left, the drive is going to be simple, but we're going to have a longer distance towards the pin, even if we would be getting a shorter drive on the right. So we need to be smart here and make sure that we do play straightforward, play a little bit more harder drive, but still going to make sure that we're going to get that eagle. 10% for the drive for every tee. Second shot is going to be all from 20% down to 0. It all depends how far we carry. If we carry, you know, much further than the second black box, we might reduce and play 10 or 0. But if we end up where the black mark is, in some area there by that bunker, then it's 20%. I just wanted to be clear with that. So we're gonna go to the final of the par 3s, and first time I played this one from the front tee, I made an hole in one. I was like, oh yeah, come on. It's like, so RJ, hole number 7, get in the hole.
All right. Well, they just broke up our beautiful streak of quasars. So, guess who's back? Back again. Quasar's back. Tell your friends. Okay. So, 10%. What an amazing, 10%. I haven't said that all stream. With the backbone quasar, we're going to go about 3.5 back spin and about 2 left spin. I don't think you get that much with the Navigator. That's why I'm not recommending that. You're going to set up near the bottom of the fairway, right where that black box is, and you should go right to the pin.
Yes, second tee and third tee. You know, there is a rough bump, guys. Second tee, we will be able to play the rough bump if we have a crosswind or a headwind in some sort. Otherwise, we're going to go in between clubs. And I would suggest that as a play, because from second tee, we can take bigger risks and we can play with a quarterback in a high level, which gives us a very good accuracy, a very good ball guideline, and there is actually more rough than what it looks here on the screen. And we're going to play that one 10% extra. From the third tee, we could play the rough bump as well. It all depends on the wind. If we have a headwind, we're going to go in between clubs. If we do have a crosswind or a tailwind, that would be an option. But still, quarterback's going to be suggested. I do suggest 20% extra from the third tee. And that obviously is something that could fluctuate, that we could change a little bit depending on what type of adjustment you decide. Once again, have in mind, you can use different elevation for a same type of shot. You just need to build the adjustments a little bit differently. Maybe it sounds weird, but listen and watch that elevation guide I have here on the channel, and you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. Play with a more wind resistance ball. A Kingmaker from the 30, wind resistance 3, but obviously if you do have some wind resistance 5 ball, you could pull out one of those as well. 30, obviously a massive advantage if you can play with a wind 5 ball in any form. Yes, hole number 88. Not 88, but 8.
88.
good chance for eagle. What do you say?
Yes, definitely. We got another one of those straight line type courses that you were talking about. So 10% is going to be our adjustment. Extra mile, I like the navigator here because we're going to be going with full top spin and maybe about one left spin only. That's going to bring us up to that second black box right there by the sand. And then we're going to have a backbone to pin, and we all know backbone's a pretty accurate club. Another thing, though, you might get a little further up and be able to use the short iron, whatever you're more comfortable with. A thorn or a hornet will do. And that's what I got for hole number 8. How about you?
Yes, hole 8, second tee and 30. We're going to try to play black line. As you can see, as RJ mentioned, we have a straight line. And what does that mean? Then we can start playing with yardage notes. So if we can play the drive to the right, even if it might be a little bit tougher than playing to the left, it's going to reward us much more based on being able to play with yardage notes going towards the pin. So we play with a driver that gives us the distance we need to. We're gonna play with all from power 1 to power 3 ball depending on what type of wind, so we can compensate for the distance that we do need here. Bounce over, second shot, short iron or a long iron depending on distance. If we from the third tee especially, and but also from the second tee, I would believe, if we do have a straight headwind, gonna be hard to bounce according to the black line, then we have to choose white line to just give ourselves a shot towards the pin without struggling getting the birdie. So we'll see what type of wind we're gonna get. I hope for some sort of wind where we can play directly over. I can also add, if we do have a straight tailwind, we can go for green. And if we have a straight tailwind, now I'm talking expert and master especially, highly doubt that the wind strength is going to be enough for pro, but I will reserve myself from that, not knowing that because I haven't tried. But second tee, expert, third tee, master, then we can try to go for green with a straight tailwind using power 5 ball, and that's going to be a must eagle if we do have that type of wind, because you can see how open the fairway and the green area is. There is no obstacles basically there. So if we're having that type of wind, yeah, it's gonna be a must eagle. I don't have that line out there because it's just specifically on one certain type of wind. 10% for the drive, nothing for the second shot. Hole 9, the final of the all, and it's gonna be a tough one. The par 5s are tough. So how do we approach hole number 9?
No, I agree. We have 3 different clubs I'm going to mention here. First of all, no elevation on the first drive. Extra mile or quarterback will work. Now let's see if I can do this without getting tongue-tied, because I have my notes in 2 different sections. First, I'm going to say with the extra mile and the Titan in the right side, we're going to go full top spin, full right spin, full right curl, and we are going to set up right next to the rough because it's the bend that we need on that black line with the low level extra miles are just so because we're not going to be in max distance of the extra mile, if you at least have a quarterback 5, you can use that instead. And we're going to be taking the same route, full top spin, full right spin, black line, but we're going to be using 100% of the curl, and that'll safely move us more over to the right where we have more green. But if you have an extra mile if you have a quarterback level 7, you're going to want to take off a little bit of that curl. We just don't want to go too far over to the side. All of those shots, full top spin, full right spin, full full right curl minus the quarterback 7 or above. And then your second shot is going to be a big dog shot with about 1 backspin. But the big deal on this one is a 40% adjustment. That's a lot. So that's almost 50%. So just keep that in mind when you take your shot. Full left spin, 1 backspin to hop over the sand. I don't expect many albatrosses here, but maybe we can get it dialed in. What do you think, Tommy?
First, I need to ask you how many, if you could show in the amount of fingers, the number 3. But you did you do that on purpose before? I need to ask you that because you held up 4 fingers and said 3.
A musician never reveals his secrets.
Okay, that was awesome.
3, buddy, 3.
Yeah, that was funny. Okay, second tee. We're gonna play black line here, and we're gonna use a club. It's gonna be an Apocalypse, in my opinion. Apocalypse 1+. So no matter what Apocalypse you have, you're most likely gonna have more curl than you're having like with an XY7 and below. And we do want to get that ball up there, and we do need to use a lot of curl because the fairway slopes massively down to the left, and if you're coming too far to the left there, then you're gonna fall into the rough. You still will be able to reach for the green though, but it sucks based on, you know, that you're losing any form of opportunity to getting yourself an albatross. So I would say an Apocalypse in a lower level before you play with an extra mile level 7. But if you have extra mile 8, then you play with an extra mile 8 instead, because then you have the curl with that. You can also, depending on the wind, play with a quarterback level 9, level 10. So we'll see what type of wind we're having, but the curl is very important playing out there to the right. Elevation for second and third tee on hole 9 is 10%. Like from the front tee, it's 0, so we're not going to add anything there. But from the second and third tee, we need to add 10%. From that second black marker, we played 40%, and we play with the sniper. The sniper has enough distance. I didn't think so when I played this one the first time, but it has, definitely. The only reason we wouldn't be getting the distance would if we would accidentally clip the rough and roll very short and we do have a headwind for the second shot. Then we would be having to play with a big dog or a cataclysm. If we experience a straight headwind, especially from the third tee, we cannot play the right side. That's going to be too tough, and we will not be able to have the ball power or the club power to get over there. So we play down to the left, but consider that to be just a pure eagle way, because you play down there to the left according to the white line using 10% extra. Then the second shot, you can see how much curl we need there. So we're kind of curling that ball onto the green without, you know, expecting anything more than an eagle putt or a chip from the wedge or the fairway very close to it. And if you play white line, second shot, it's only 20%. As I said, you know, black line 40%, then white line 20%. Here it could be good playing with a kingmaker. For those of you choosing between tight and kingmaker, I would choose kingmaker mostly because of the side spin, because that will be needed either the drive from playing to the right or the second shot playing to the left. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have the text guides for the dreaded dunes, and you can find the link to the text guides in the video description down below. You can also find the text guides on golf-tommy.com, which is going to be an easy way to get them. So we can actually go there and we can check. So if you go to golf-tommy.com and you go to tournaments, and you can see here directly at the top, you have the link here to Imgur, and that link is obviously going to be in the video description, as I said. But here you can see it opens nicely. You can print it out. You can, you know, download it to your computer or something like that. RJ, what do you predict to be the score to get here on this course?
Well, yikes. I wasn't prepared for that question. But I was just thinking in my head, it should be called the not so dreaded dunes, because there are some easy ones in there. Let's see. I'm going to go with a minus 28. No. People are too good. In rookie, let's say minus 28 should take first. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're gonna it depends on the wind. If we get tailwind on all the par fours, we can basically drive green on them all. So, but let's say that we are getting just a general wind. I might see like a minus 30 to win second tee and also third tee. You know, I don't think we will see any 34s, 35s this time around, as that would surprise me big time. We don't really have any par fours where we, you know, generally can go for green. So it's gonna be interesting though, and we both would love to hear what you think will be the score to win. So comment in the comment section below. So in the end, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're gonna see you on the stream directly when the tournament starts in the morning. I'm gonna go live playing all the divisions. RJ, how is the stream scheduled for you this week to come?
Mondays are always hectic because I have a doctor's appointment and sometimes they get out earlier or later. So Monday, let's just say Monday, I'll be streaming. I don't know what time, mostly late in the day for Eastern Standard Time. But then I try to get on around 7:30 every single other day of the week.
Nice.
How about you?
I'm gonna be kind of different, I believe. I haven't really set the schedule. I think I'm gonna be now obviously Monday is gonna be directly at the morning, and then Tuesday is gonna be late, or always at around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday I'm not gonna stream. I have a break day. Then I stream Thursday and Friday, often pretty early, and then the classic, the 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, where we go for hopefully another goal. So once again, thank you so much, RJ. You ended up
Happy stroking.
Boom! Happy stroking, everybody.